Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini. And tonight we have an audience. So after the live, I'll post the picture of our furry audience.
We have 8 legs watching us tonight.
If you see me in my Utah gear, well, that's because we were doing some training with our Utah office.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. And a shout out to Dr. Wood and his team in Cottonwood Heights. Yeah.
But we're going to have a lot of fun tonight, too, because tonight is Woodshed Night.
Oh, we said that so in sync.
We weren't planning that.
Yeah.
Woodshed Night's great. This is where we take supervisors out behind the woodshed. For those of you that have been with us since the beginning, you'll remember that Gini once said that we take supervisors inside the woodshed. Yeah. But we don't take supervisors in the woodshed because that's where we have the bar. We do drinks and appetizers in there. And disclaimer, for those of you that understand what taking someone out behind the woodshed is, we don't use real 2x4s. We use words.
So
no violence, just words, folks.
I have a 2x4 that I like to spank on certain people.
I didn't think we were talking about that tonight.
Anyway, every quarter, at the end of each quarter, we always do Woodshed Night again, where we teach you the rules, laws, and regulations of what supervisors and management should follow, and they don't.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of my books here, and so I'll be able to reference any rules if you want to know what rules they are. Between these 2 books, out of the 4 I've written, these probably have every rule, law, and regulation that's relevant to you and me. So we'll have a good talk about that tonight. But we're going to do it a little different tonight because Jeannie requested for some of you to come on or to comment what problems your supervisors are causing for you. And so tonight she's going to read some of those and we're going to discuss them.
Yeah.
And what you can do to make this an epic Woodshed Night is feel free and comment. Keep them brief. Like if your comment could be like this big and not this big, that would be easier for us. So if you can keep it concise, we'd like to know what your supervisors are telling you or your coworkers that we can help you overcome.
Yeah.
Because we know that management has a tendency to play dumb or be dumb. And that's coming from a guy whose profession is management. So I know it better than anybody, I think. So tonight we're going to take your supervisors out behind the woodshed. And if they're watching, this is your opportunity to do better.
All right. There is a handful of supervisors that we know personally.
And we love.
That is our friends, and we love them. And they actually understand and know the process of how it is to get injured and having to go get your claim filed, filing all your paperwork, trying to find a doctor, giving you all the paperwork that we've gone through in this first quarter, CA1, CA2, your CA16s and 17s. So, whoa, what happened?
No, keep going.
Oh, so pay attention, grab a piece of paper, get a pen, and let's go. I'm going to do some sharing. I know you wanted to talk about some things first, and then I'm going to bring out my handy dandy calendar and tell you guys where we're off to next month.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a prologue. What comes before? Epilogue? Prologue.
Yeah.
To Woodshed Night. Because this is kind of like taking supervisors out to the woodshed, but you're all dealing with something right now that you've dealt with a little bit in the past. Sometimes you dealt with a lot, but I think you're dealing with it more now than ever. It's becoming more of a reality now than ever, and that is a reduction in workforce. I started talking about this last week. Last week, and I'm actually really disturbed by it. Not nearly as disturbed as I think you are, and probably not for the same reasons as you think I would be. But, all of you are friends of ours. You're family. We've been with you. You've been with us since 2016. Since our first day ever doing Wednesday night chats. And we've been through it together. We've gotten, over 7,500 of your claims approved.
We're close. We might end the year about 10,000 plus OWCP accepted claims.
We've hung out with you. We've been to conventions with you. I've trained you live and in person, from the rural carriers to the APW clerks and all of you folks at APW. I started out all of my education with federal employees in 2007, 2008 with NALC, just in my local town. I've done a lot of work with AFGE. We just recently started doing work with the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. We're super excited to be able to get involved with that and help those folks because we know they have to fight for a living and all kinds of other things that are getting them hurt. So, we've been in it with you. We've been to your rallies. We're going to go to more of your rallies.
Yep.
We are neck deep in federal unions and with federal workers and with what you are dealing with and what you go through.
So,
I'm sorry.
oh, that's
I've
okay.
written 4 books in an effort to solve your problems, your worst problems, the things that are causing you just to lose everything. We've tried to do everything, but right now, what you're going through is something that I think is totally out of your control, which is tomorrow will it be my last day?
Right.
And that's terrifying to me. And I can only imagine how it must feel to you. But can remember, I'm an OWCP guy. My thing is, if you get hurt at work, what do you do? And I'm here to help you with your problems and solve your problems. But this is one that I don't know that I can solve. We're going to attend the rallies. We're going to do what we can do, our, I think, small part. But the number one thing I can do for you is to tell you that if you're hurt and you wait till after you no longer work there, it's too late.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about timelines. You have 3 years to report an injury, 7 days to get a 16, 30 for COP, 12 months for request for reconsideration, and so forth. But the number one timeline that comes to mind these days is if you have a legitimate work injury and you don't file it before your last day of employment with a federal agency, it's too late. Because if you wait till after you no longer work there, the argument's going to be you weren't hurt. You're just, you're retaliating against us the way we've been doing against you for the last however many years, 20, 30 years. So I want to tell you very sincerely, do not report injuries that are not legitimate.
Yeah.
If it's not legit, don't. If you've heard me teach, I'll tell you. The only rule that I've ever read that can punish you is one that essentially says that it is a crime to file a false or fraudulent claim or statement in connection with a claim under FICA. In other words, you got to tell the truth. With that said, if you have a legitimate work injury and you haven't filed it yet, and you think you might be in danger of losing your job, then the right time to do it is now. I always say the soonest possible time to do anything is now. The CA-10, what a federal employee should do when injured at work. The first section says, report your injury to your supervisor as soon as possible. Believe me when I tell you that now is as soon as possible. And tomorrow might be too late. I pray to God it's not. I don't want it to be. But the reality is these things are happening. You're dealing with it. Your unions are rallying around it. You're filing lawsuits. And I hope you file a crazy number of lawsuits and I hope you win them. But in the
Yeah.
process, as you go along, I want you to win at this too. So everyone pass along the word that if you've got a legitimate work injury that you haven't reported yet, you got to report it right away. You can't wait.
Correct.
Because I don't know what's coming next. I don't know if you do either. If you do, I'd like to know and give me that crystal ball because I'll look into it. But please do yourself a favor. Report your injuries. Whether you go get help or not is irrelevant to me. What's relevant is that you report so you have an opportunity to have help.
Right.
So that's my message to you. I'm going to probably repeat it for the next several weeks. Pass it along. Tell your friends, tell your union brothers and sisters that if you've got a legitimate work injury, you need to report it, file it right away because you'll have lifetime medical benefits no matter what, even if you're no longer working there. You'll have lifetime medical benefits. You'll have the right and the opportunity to get better so that you can be at 100% for the next job you go to.
Yeah.
And I pray to God this doesn't happen to you, but it's out of my control. In a large way, it's out of your control. But what is in your control is in what ways can you take care of yourself?
Yep.
And the
So,
number one way when it comes to workers' comp you can take care of yourself is report.
yeah. So just know that we stand with all federal
We
employees.
love you.
I mean, it's BS. We understand, but so we are with you. We were just able to get in with at least a few of the AFGE districts. They allowed me to sign up and see where all their rallies are. So like every couple days, I get a list of where they're going to be rallying. And I told one of the NVPs, we will come to the ones we can come to.
Every chance we get.
Yeah. And then, but thank you for allowing us to do that. You guys see me post it, these AFGE things. We're not there to market. we're not there to represent federal injury centers. We will wear your AFGE blue and gold, and we will come and rally with you.
And if you're in one of the postal unions, we'll wear your stuff too. We've got a closet full of APW stuff, trust
Yeah.
me. And whoever else, if you want to have us, if you want to be, if you want our audience to see what's going on, because we have a bigger audience than all of you combined, no offense, we just actually do, then we're happy to help.
Yeah.
We're happy to use our platform to further what you need. We've been with you. I've been with you for 30 years.
Yeah.
You've been with me for the last 10. And there's not been a day in 30 years that I haven't been with you. So we have this platform. We're willing to use it however you need it. So just let us know.
So, a little housekeeping. Number one, we wanted to officially welcome a new agency
A
that
new group, not an agency,
yeah,
right?
well, yeah. We got to speak to one of the national presidents. We're so super excited, the FLEOA. So, we're official with them now.
The Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. So whoever carries badges and guns are we're with them now too. So I'm super excited. You know, we're always looking to help more people. And so these folks are with us and we're with them, just like we've been with you for all this time. So welcome aboard, Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. We will be proud to help you and hope we make you proud.
Yeah, and a shout out to Larry that we spoke to
Ah,
today.
so much
This
fun.
guy's background was crazy, insane of all the things that he's done.
I'm pretty sure I made a new best friend today.
Yeah, he's I mean, and he knows OWCP, and he can't wait for us to go train at his national convention and all his local chapters, and we're super excited.
Yep.
And let me just go over some housekeeping things, and then we're gonna get right into woodshed night. I know you guys want to know where we're gonna be, so our travel starts March 31st through April 4th. We will be with AFGE's DECA team in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So those of you that are in DECA, and I think there's like 3 districts that are going to be attending, we are going to be there and we're so excited. We've never been to Gatlinburg before. So we're going to take a day to tour around and see all the epic stuff. So if anybody's from Gatlinburg and knows the fun stuff, message us so we can know where to go.
Yep.
The
And
follow
we hope if you're there, you'll come hang out with
Yeah,
us.
so anybody that's the AFGE DECA, I don't know which 3 districts are gonna be there. I know District 10 is one of them, and I think District 5. I can't remember the other district, but we're looking forward to, getting you guys trained in OWCP. Following week from April 10th through 12th, we are gonna be in Las Vegas. We're gonna be training NALC, APWU, and I believe some rule carriers and a handful of mail handlers. So we're excited. It'll be at a local union hall. And if anybody wants to attend, I know the state president Tina is welcoming anyone to attend because she understands everybody needs this training.
I'm super bummed out that I have to go to Vegas again. Oh,
Oh no.
oh man.
May 5th through May 9th, we will be in Fort Myers with the Florida APWU, our friendly local folks. And we always have fun. So if you want to come have fun, I already picked out a spot that we're going to go hang out after for dinner and drinks. Come hang out.
Our time with Florida APW tends to be in the category of epic.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun.
So that's what we have so far. So what happens is everybody last minute calls us, and then we're like double booked, and we had to actually decline Wyoming, which I really wanted to go to take. Well, drove through Wyoming. I really wanted to take Chris there. And last but not least, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, our case manager, our national case manager, Emmy, will be attending, since we can't go, will be attending the APWU President's Convention in DC at the Hyatt Hotel, DC Capitol, something like that. So if anybody wants to go by and ask Emmy for some brochures or go ask her a question, Emmy is your girl. She will be there. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it. We have an event going on this weekend, a personal event, so we couldn't make it. But we're excited.
But let me say something about Emmy. You cannot go there and try to play Stump the Chump because
Not with her.
I'm the chump. You can play Stump the Chump with me. It never works.
Yeah.
You can try, but with Emmy, I'm telling you, She's a top trainer at federal injury centers. She trains all the doctors, their case managers, all the staff on how to help you. Um, I dare you to try to stump her.
She's good.
She's
She's a
she's
little bad
she's gifted in
yeah,
OWCP. We're really lucky to have her.
All right. So again, tonight is woodshed night where we take supervisors
Out behind,
behind the woodshed.
it's like proverbially, we don't actually hit them with 2x4s and stuff. We don't condone violence. Don't go do violence. Okay. Don't do it.
What we are going to do is
We're gonna
brainwash them
we're gonna
to use the rules, laws, and regulations they're supposed to follow.
we're gonna use our words, people. We're gonna use our words, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So
We have a few new folks here. Good to see you guys. Let's see, where was that one at?
What's up, Bobby?
Mary from Georgia. Good night, Chris and Gini. Hello. Let's see. There was one on here. Somebody was new. She said I'm new. First time watching live.
Yeah, it's up there. If you just scroll up, you'll see it. Yeah, if you're new here, we're really excited to have you. We've been doing Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini since 2016. When Gini came to me and said, "Hey, Chris, you ever heard of Facebook Live?" I'm like, oh, I know what those words mean, but what is it? She goes, "Well, you can go live. It's like, watching a show. We should do one about work comp."
Yeah.
I said, "Are you crazy? That is the worst idea I've ever heard. Who's going to come and watch a show about work comp? How boring." And it turns out it's not that boring. And every 30 days, like the last 30 days, 430,000 people have been on our page.
Yep.
That sounds like a lot to me. I did some math. I found the good old handy abacus, and I was like, wow, 430,000. That's a lot of people. So I was wrong. Those of you that heard that, you'll never probably hear it again.
Yeah. So
I was wrong that one time. Remember that one time I was wrong?
He's been wrong a few times. Frank, how are you this evening? Yolanda. Okay. For those of you that are tagging your friends, they won't see the tag if you don't do the @ sign and then their name. So on your end, it'll pop up blue or whatever. So you have to @ and then put their name.
@ name.
Diane Egan, hey, first time live. The website has been very helpful. Waiting on SA.
Schedule award. Yeah. Good luck with that. I hope it's a huge number. Actually, I don't. I hope you have a 0% impairment and everything is perfect with you. But if it's not, I hope you get a maximum award.
Hello from Alabama. Hello from Tallahassee. Hello from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Those are 3 places I like a lot.
Yeah. All right, guys. So what we do is every end of each quarter throughout the year, so 4 times a year, we do Woodshed Night where we train you the rules, laws, and regulations that management is supposed to follow. And most of the times they don't. Last week, hello, Yolanda. Last week, I asked for people to comment what's going on. Tell me some stories about what's going on in your office or things that should have not been said.
So we want you to do the same thing. Just go ahead and comment. Be concise. Remember, we have to read everything. So if you write a novel, we got to read it, and everybody's going to go to sleep if it's a novel. So try to keep it to like a small paragraph. But let us know what's going on. What kind of crazy stuff are you hearing from supervisors that you want me to address? Your supervisor says you only have 3 days to report an injury, right? Like, I can deal with that. Your supervisor says they don't have to give you a CA-16, or they're going to fire you, and you got to sign your limited duty offer right now. Let us know, because we'll tell you what the rule actually says, and then you can take that back to management and say, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to follow the rules. And I want to tell you all this too. I say it every time I speak live to a live audience. Is that the only reason why management pushes you around is because you let them. You let them. The reason we love unions, and there's actually more than one reason, but the number one thing I love about the unions is the power. They're the ones in your corner. They're the ones that have the ability to affect change, and you can get their help. And the union friends that we have are strong. If Ian was on here tonight, he's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And Rob. Good Lord.
Be careful with them.
Yeah, be very careful. But, we've got some friends that are union reps that are, union leaders that are killers. And you need that. So the reason you're getting pushed around is because you let it happen. Because the rules are there to protect you and to penalize management. And the only reason why management doesn't get penalized is because you're not letting it happen or making it happen. So tonight I'm going to give you some information that hopefully will make you feel a little stronger, a little
Yeah.
more powerful in what you're doing. Because God knows there are agencies right now that are saying, look, we're going to let people go. And if you have a work injury, we're going to fire you. I'm going to tell you right now, that's against the law.
It so is.
That is against the law. Okay. OSHA says that retaliation against anybody for exercising their rights under the law is a crime. And the sixth employee right is the right to report a work injury. So why does OSHA say it's your right to report a work injury if it's okay to fire you? It's not. Retaliation, anything that would prevent you from reporting your injuries, is a crime punishable by fines, imprisonment, or both. So that's how I want to start Woodshed Night. Hey, supervisors, anything that you do that can prevent somebody or deter their ability to report an injury because they're scared is a crime. I didn't say so. The Code of Federal Regulations, the United States Code, and freaking OSHA said so. Now, why did all three of these say that? Why did they take the time to put the law in two different places? And why did OSHA take the time to say, and here's what we think about it, if it's not really a crime?
All right.
They all three say it's a crime, punishable by fines, imprisonment, or both. So if someone says, I'm going to fire you, you probably have a pretty good lawsuit against them. You probably do, because that's against the law.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a doctor. So if you're new here, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a doctor, but I read really good and I comprehend the stuff I read.
Yeah.
And I've read the laws and I know what they say. So supervisors, the number one thing you can do is cut that out. And I wanted to cuss right there.
No.
I'm trying to get better at
Yeah.
that.
So last week I posted, give me some things that's happening that your supervisors have not been good to you. So I'm just going to read the first name. So if you need to go back and replay and watch this, here's some of the questions you guys wrote. Dawn, after this one really upset me. Dawn said, after being attacked by a dog, a supervisor told me he had no one to do the route and to continue delivering. What the holy harness?
Holy Hannes, huh?
Yeah.
That's where we're
Why?
going?
Yeah. Like, why would you? This person just got bit by a dog. Number one, you don't know if the dog has rabies or whatever, especially that. It's just a random dog out in the yard. I would be upset if we let our German Shepherd out. And I mean, and she will bite, but like, you don't know if the dog is in any way sick. And your supervisor tells you just to continue your route. You don't know if you're bleeding, if your leg has been chopped off or bit off by this dog. What would you do?
Well, let me be clear. Our dog will bite, but she's trained. She only does it when I tell her to.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to be safe unless I tell her to. All right. So here's the deal. It makes me think of the lady that had the burning LLV.
Yeah.
And the supervisor said, quick, go back into the burning vehicle and get the packages out.
That was so disgusting.
The hell is that?
That actually happened here in Florida.
Yeah, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
And then the LLV that burned up magically just disappeared.
Yeah, the LLV, when
Couldn't find
OSHA
it.
came out, where did it go?
Couldn't find it. I don't know what happened to it. But you can't tell somebody that it's okay they got hurt, keep working. That's wrong. So this supervisor said to this person, you got bit by a dog, keep working. So again, I said I come from a management background. In my world, if an employee of mine is injured and the job needs to be finished, guess whose responsibility that is?
Yep.
Mine.
Yeah.
So if I'm that supervisor, I go finish the route because I care about my people. I love my people. And you just got bit by a dog, and that's probably traumatizing, and you're probably bleeding a little bit. And what if there's rabies? You're not going to finish your route. Supervisors, come on. Like, I mean, just like, seriously. The person has the right to report their injury. They have a right to go to an urgent care or an ER if needed. And you're not a doctor. You don't know if that thing's infected. You don't know if they're going to bleed out.
Right.
You don't know if the dog bit the freaking calf muscle off.
Right. That's what
You
I'm
don't know
trying
what's
to say.
going on.
That's disgusting. Dawn, I would like you to message me and tell me what became of this whole situation. I really want to know.
But that's
Yeah.
And you know what? Supervisors, this is why everybody dislikes you. I almost said hate, but I don't think everyone hates supervisors. But this is why you're not trusted by the people who don't trust you, because you don't put their needs and their concerns. You don't put their well-being
First.
You got to put the people first. I assure you, if my mail doesn't get delivered till tomorrow, I'm probably not going to be mad. And I think I speak for most of America. We can probably wait till tomorrow. I don't even like to check the mail. You know what's in the mail? IRS bills, and other bills.
Yeah.
I don't want to check the mail. Hey, IRS, stop sending me stuff.
Yeah. Real quick, I have a few shout
Please.
outs. Federal attorney Carlos Zaldivar. What's up,
My
Carlos?
man. What's up, Carlos? We love Carlos. He's in Miami.
Yes. If anybody needs to get in touch with a federal attorney and ask questions, reach out to
He's
Carlos.
awesome. And also, you can spend an entire day talking to him and never get bored.
Yeah. And this chat is dedicated to my soon to be brother in law, Jason, whose birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Jason, this is for you, bud. And a shout out to our goddaughter, Sasha. Uncle Friss says hi.
Hey, baby.
All right, Melanie, I don't know who to turn to at this point. I'm going on almost 5 months no pay since my claim was finally approved, but almost 7 months total of no pay. I have my senator's office and union involved, but they seem useless at this point also. Work keeps dropping the ball on the paperwork. Supervisors, for the heck of it, can you help them out?
So, what supervisors drop the ball, they have by rule 5 days to turn in your CA7s for LWAP when you're out of work because of a work injury. What happens is you go to eComp, you fill out your ecomp.dol.gov. That's the website. If you don't have a eComp account, that's where you go, and it's easy. You fill out one screen worth of information that you know, like your social, your date of birth, your address, and so forth. And then, boom, you have an account.
Yeah.
So you go to eComp and you fill out a CA7 online. When you submit it, your supervisor gets an email and they've got to fill out, I kid you not, one piece of paper. The second page of the CA7. They fill that out. It's one page. And the information on it, they should have access to. And if they don't, go to HR and get help. But, these people need to get paid. And you can't just delay, you can't screw it up because their livelihood depends on you not being a screw up.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say other words, but I'll say screw up.
Thank you.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, supervisors, by rule, you have 5 days to get this done. Let me put it a different way. You have 5 days.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5
That's
days. Hold on. 5 days to fill out one piece of paper. Now, listen. Anyone can fill out one sheet of paper in 5 days. I think they could probably get it done in like 5 hours. I think if you really put a lot of brain power into it, you could get this done probably in 1 hour.
I think so.
I think it'd be amazing. And then click submit. But here's the deal. People have a right to get paid, so you can't screw that up. I see all the time supervisors writing the wrong information on the forms. They write the wrong pay rate, the wrong numbers of hours. They leave out the extra time that you have a right to get paid for. And then your checks come, if they come at all, and they're wrong. You got to check. And also, for those of you out there, you need to check what your supervisor wrote on the second page.
And let me tell you, that's the story that we know. One, the supervisor filled out the employee's paperwork and put the post office's address on her paperwork so they can see what's going on. Completely not right. Completely wrong. 100%. So always double check the paperwork that the supervisor has to fill out their section and sign just to make sure, because that's a HIPAA violation with your medical stuff.
Just real quick, Carlos, Yu Marquez would like your phone number, so just reply to her and give her your phone number, please.
Yes.
So supervisors, you can't screw this up. People's pay. Listen, we know in some of our offices at Federal Injury Centers, we have supervisors that are patients.
Yes, we do.
You want to get paid? How do you think your employees feel? Everyone just needs to forget want. We need our income. Nobody asks to get hurt. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, wow, I hope I get into a car wreck today and become disabled and can't work for the next 3 months. Nobody wants that. So do people a favor. What if it was you? What if it was your mother? No, forget that. What if it was you? Some of you, like, remember the supervisor that gave her sister a hard time? What is that? I would never give my brother a hard time.
Yeah, the sister was a carrier and this other sister was a supervisor and hated
Wouldn't
each
help
other.
them out.
They wouldn't. She wouldn't help her sister out.
Crazy. But the rules specifically state you have 5 days.
Yep.
Get that done.
Flavia.
That was a woodshed moment.
Months after my claim was accepted by DOL, the postal supervisor tried to advise me on the days I should schedule my therapy and evaluation appointments. She blatantly ignored me because my appointment days are between me and my medical provider.
Okay, so this is the cool thing for all of you out there and not so cool for your supervisors. Is Kevin Andrew on tonight?
I haven't seen him yet.
Kevin, if you're on, I would like you to post that rule that you gave me, where you found the 4 hours, the 4 hour rule.
Yeah, just copy and paste it on here.
So here's the deal for all of you. You are by rule allowed to spend up to 4 hours of your day going to the doctor,
Yep.
going to physical therapy, going to surgery, going to an MRI in relation to a legitimate work injury. You are afforded up to 4 hours per day of LWAP time. That means you can go to work for 4 and go and be gone for 4. You're allowed to do that up to 4 hours. Okay, 1, 2, 3, or 4. You're allowed to do that. If you go above 4 hours, they don't have to pay you. But most people can get to the doctor and back in less than 4 hours, right? But you're allowed to do that. But your supervisors are saying you have to go on your day off.
Yeah.
Or you can't go on this day because I need you too much. Or we just can't afford for you to be gone on a Wednesday. Well, here's the deal. What if your doctor's office is closed on a Wednesday?
Right.
Or closed
Or
on a
on
Thursday?
yeah, I mean, most doctors' offices are closed on weekends. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and what if they close on Friday because they're only open 4 days a week? It happens. It's super common.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to do what? Like, what do you do? You have to be able to go, and that's why you're afforded up to 4 hours of your work shift. So, supervisors, here's your woodshed moment. You got to let people go to the doctor. How are they ever going to get better and get back to work full duty if you don't let them go get better? You think they're just going to get better from a torn ACL by coming to work and walking 10 miles carrying 70-pound packages?
Right.
That's not going to help their knee get better. It's going to get worse. They're going to end up limping and have a consequential injury on their left knee. And now you're going to have someone that's going to be out twice as long because you were a jerk and didn't let them go to the doctor. The rules state that they get up to 4 hours of their work shift to go to the doctor, and they may be there 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to let it happen because that short period of time that they're going for 3 days a week gets them back to work full duty faster. Think all of the barriers you put up in front of your folks who are just trying to get better is actually lengthening the time that it takes for them to get better and making it even more frustrating for you because now you got to deal with them being out of work 3 days a week for even more time.
Yeah.
I mean, just use some common sense. That's why the rule is there. You got to let people go to the doctor when the doctor has availability. The other thing doctors do when they're open and not closed is that they have appointments throughout the day. They can't just book everybody at 11 o'clock a.m. because that's the only time you'll let them all come in.
Right.
It's one doctor. It's one physical therapist. They can't see everybody at once, so they have to do them at different appointment times. If it was you, what would you do?
You guys need to look at, I know they can't fire you.
Right.
I mean, you have a legitimate work injury. You can't get fired.
Well, okay.
And stand up for yourself.
So I like that you said can't. They can do it.
Right.
It's just illegal. But people do illegal stuff all the time. They can, but it's just against the Code of Federal Regulations, the United States Code, and it's against OSHA. So, they can do it.
Yeah.
But there's a penalty for it if you push back.
Yeah. Sherry, I have an 8-hour restriction. I also go to PT 3 days a week. Supervisors are telling me my PT time doesn't count in the 8 hours. So on PT days, in theory, I'm working 10 hours.
Okay. You have the right to go to physical therapy up to 4 hours of your work shift.
Correct.
Just like going to the doctor. It's all health care. It's all related to you getting better so you can be back at work full duty and not have to go to therapy. The whole point of going to therapy is to work your way out of therapy. The whole point of going to the doctor is to work your way out of having to go to the doctor. Like, I do healthcare for a living. I'm not a doctor. I just work in it. And I don't even want to go to the doctor.
I know.
I know you don't want to go to the doctor. Nobody wants to spend their time at physical therapy. Nobody wants to have a swollen knee, but it is a fact of life when you do the jobs that you guys do. So supervisors, please pull your heads out. Let people go get better so they can get back full duty so you stop having to be frustrated with them being gone. They're frustrated too. You know what I know is that federal employees, when they're out of work, for the most part, don't want to be out of work because they care about their coworkers and they want to get back because they know their coworkers are picking up the slack.
Yep.
But the coworker's going to get hurt sometime too because it's a hard job. You guys are industrial athletes. You're doing jobs that almost nobody else in the world would want to do.
Yeah, we spoke to an NFL player
who said, I'll never do that job. It's too hard.
and he said that.
I'm like, you're a world-class athlete. He's like, yeah, but I don't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, he was like,
It's too hard.
How many pounds do these carriers have to
These
walk
guys
around?
would rather go to 2-a-days training camp than do your job.
Yeah. Crystal Higgins. This one's going to upset a lot of you. When I got injured, I was dizzy and lightheaded and in so much pain. I was crying, begging to be taken to the hospital. That's pathetic that she had to cry and beg. Bosses kept telling me I had to fill out paperwork online first. I called the union, which told me to call 911, so I did. That's when the boss finally said, in a bad temper, "Fine, I'll take you." Are you freaking serious? Go to the hospital. You have time to get your paperwork when you get back.
All right.
Supervisors, be nice and help them out.
Hey, supervisors, stop being idiots. So the Form CA-10, what a federal employee should do when injured at work. Very important form. If you haven't seen it before, go to my website, federalinjurycenters.com, click on the forms tab, and print a CA-10 and read it. The top section, the very smallest section in the entire form is the first section where it says report to supervisor. It says report to supervisor as soon as possible. And then you do that and your supervisor says, "Oh, well, too bad." Why the hell are you reporting to supervisor then if they're just going to blow you off and say you can't go get help?
Right.
That's not okay. Your supervisor doesn't have a medical license. They don't have the authority or the education
Right.
to tell you you can't go get help. You're dizzy? Do they even know what's wrong with you?
Because the
What if you
supervisors,
fall over dead right there? Then what's going to happen?
because all the supervisors have medical license now.
Yeah, I mean, what if you're dizzy and you fall and hit your head on something? Whose fault is that? Supervisor. That's whose fault it is because they knew that you were unsafe and they made you keep working. So I'll tell you this. I know you have enough problems, and I'm getting heated. I know you have enough problems with management as it is, and you don't want to have more, but your health matters more than what your managers think. And in this book, I'm not trying to sell a book. In fact, right now, you can't even buy it. It's not for sale right now. The 25 things you can do to win an OWCP. Thing number 25 says, forget your supervisor's feelings. Don't care what your supervisors think about your injury. All that matters is that you're hurt and you need help. Go get it. You have a right. And if the supervisor won't take you, have a union brother or sister take you.
Yeah.
Get help. Call an Uber. I don't care. But go get help. If it can wait, it can wait. That's fine. That's not always an emergency. But when it is, it is.
Yeah.
Freaking supervisor.
All right. This is the last one. Then I'm going to have Chris go over some rules and laws. IMIS. What is the appropriate amount of time to let pass for a response to an email asking supervisor to fill out the FDR, the final decision reconsideration? It has been 6 business days, and the the RSSO Regional Special Screening Officer is overloaded and calls stating to try again later.
What's the FDR?
Final decision reconsideration.
That's crazy. In all my years doing this, I've never heard that term. But the proper amount of time is yesterday.
Yeah.
I hope you get the point. It's yesterday. It's now.
Yeah.
It's right now. Like, this is important. Your health matters. Health is a thing, especially injuries. You got to get it taken care of. You just have to. Now I'm going to tell people. 7 weeks ago, I had a snowmobile accident.
Well, we were on vacation.
I should have let the damn thing crash. That was the best course of action is, hey, just let this thing crash because all you're going to do is fall into like snow, which is better than a mattress that's the softest thing you ever felt.
Right.
And instead of doing that, all of my sons were watching, and I said, I'm not going to crash this because all of my sons are watching. So I didn't crash it. I didn't fall off, didn't crash, didn't break the snowmobile, but I did tear my tricep tendon right there. And I got the MRI results today, and it is a 50% tear, meaning half of the tendon is no longer connected. So that probably explains why I can't use my left arm. And now I'm a stubborn guy, so I haven't gone to get surgery yet. I did go to the urgent care. I got an MRI. I talked to one of our doctors here in Florida that's in the franchise. So I did some things. But like, if it was you, how would you operate with one arm?
Yeah, especially if you're picking up heavy boxes, and then those of you that have to carry 70 pounds, or those of you that are delivering, 70-pound dog food from Amazon to these people's houses. How do you do that?
Yeah, how are you gonna be a VA nurse?
Yeah.
Having to lift patients who need to be lifted with one arm.
You can't.
How are you gonna do? How could you be border patrol with one arm?
Yeah, exactly.
How could you do that? How could you? I don't know. Maybe you could be a TSA agent with one arm.
No, because if they have to pick something,
Yeah, they got to pick stuff up.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't know
suitcases and
what
stuff.
agency you can work for with one arm.
Yeah.
And if I was one of you, I feel like I'd be in hell right now.
Yeah.
It's just It's easy to understand where you're coming from when you're dealing with it.
Let's go over some rules that you got in your books.
Is that all the
Yeah,
things?
for then, yeah.
All right, look, if you all have stuff, I want to read your stuff too, but I want to start with just like some of the basics. I'm going to give you, I don't know, probably 5 different scenarios that happen all the time that your supervisors are constantly doing. I repeat these every time we do woodshed night.
Yeah.
So 4 times a year, I repeat this stuff, and then I repeat it again other times. That hurt. Number 1, your supervisors are constantly telling you that you only have 3 days, 2 weeks, or 30 days to report an injury, and then it's too late. I don't know where this comes from.
Yeah.
Okay, 30 days is how long you have to report a CA1 injury and still get continuation of pay. 3 days is nothing. 7 days is how long you have to report a CA1 injury and still get a CA16. So they're telling you that it's too late. You have 3 years to report injuries, and I don't know why your supervisors are lying to you. They're either lying or they're dumb, right? And the definition of dumb includes just being uneducated
Or yeah,
in a
they
topic.
just don't know because no one's taught them.
And yeah, they're not getting trained on this, or people are telling them the wrong thing on purpose. I don't know what it is, but you have 3 years. Both the Code of Federal Regulations and the United States Code both say you have 3 years to report an injury and still be able to get help. Now, you wait 3 years, you're not going to get COP, you can't have a CA16, but you can still go get time back that you used. You can get money back that you spent. You can get mileage that you traveled, and you can be eligible for a schedule award, which can be equal to a lot of money depending on your condition. And you can have lifetime medical benefits because you have 3 years to report. So that's the first thing. Supervisors are constantly saying too late when it's not too late. You have 3 years. So supervisors, cut it out. That's a woodshed moment. You've got to let people report their injuries and stop lying to them. This happens all the time. How often do you hear it? We go to these conferences and I yell out or I say, just call out, how long do you have? And what do people say?
3 days, 9. It's random things.
All
All
false.
yeah.
And they've just heard these rumors that it's too late. So that's the first thing. You have 3 years to report injuries. And again, I'm not sitting here advocating for reporting conditions that aren't real. I'm not saying report illegitimate claims at all. Please don't do that to yourself. You're going to get in trouble. I'm saying that it's not too late and you have a right to do this. I was just talking to someone today and I said, which of your rights as a federal employer are you willing to give up right now?
Yep.
Well, the most basic right is a right to report an injury. OSHA said so. It's your 6th right under OSHA. And your supervisors are telling you it's too late. You have 3 years. You have a right to report your injury. OSHA says so.
And
Okay.
yeah, and here's a funny one. There was a girl a couple years ago. She called when she called me and asked me, how many years do I have to file my injury? And I said 3. She said, well, my supervisor said 30 because now she's at 31 or 33 days, whatever. And she goes, well, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I'm just going to listen to my supervisor. Remember that one? And Chris was like, okay, let her listen to the supervisor. Guess what happened months later? She wound up coming to us and she felt stupid.
She felt silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm happy to say this. If there's a conflict between what I say and what your supervisor says, there's a better than 0 chance that I'm not wrong.
Yep.
You should consider that. I asked ChatGPT the other day. Anybody ever use ChatGPT? I love it. And I ask it, hey, ChatGPT, who's the nation's leading expert on OWCP?
It came up with Chris's name.
It said, it's you, Chris. You've written Breaking OWCP. You do Wednesday night OWCP chats, and you have federal injury centers that's dedicated towards helping injured federal employees. Nobody's helped more injured federal employees than you. I'm like, how'd you know that?
Yeah.
Even ChatGPT knows what's up.
Yeah.
So if there's a conflict between me and your supervisor,
go to ChatGPT
and ask them. They'll probably tell you, what would Chris Helms say about this? In fact, do that, actually. That'd be fun.
Right.
So that's number 1. You have 3 years. Number 2, the Form CA16 is not optional. If you have a CA1 injury that happened in a single shift, they are required to give it to you within 4 hours of the reported injury, as long as you report it within 7 days. So you're going to do what I've said and report your injury now, which is far less than 7 days. It's now. And when you do that, your supervisor is required to give it. It says they shall issue Form CA16 within 4 hours of the claimed injury. They shall issue it within 4 hours of the claimed injury. Well, if it says they shall do it, what makes them think they don't have to do it? The code of federal regulation says they shall, meaning they will, they must, they have to do it now. Go ahead. You're laughing into the
No,
mic. Now
no,
you got to
no.
say
Oh,
why.
sorry. It's something I read from a TSA president. He just said Doll's Kitchen is the best.
Oh my goodness.
Thomas.
Okay, Thomas. We'll get to Doll's Kitchen. It was delicious tonight. Yeah, so look, you have a right to a Form CA-16. If you have a CA-1 claim that happened in a single shift, you report it within 7 days or now.
Right.
Your supervisor shall issue it within 4 hours of the claimed injury. But what we hear all the time is, I don't know what that is.
Right.
I don't have to give you that. You're not hurt that bad. It's not an emergency. I don't know where to find one. I don't want to hear it, is my answer. I want my Form CA-16 because it pays all of your medical bills for the first 60 days. It pays all your medical bills for the first 60 days. Would you like to pay those?
Heck, I don't.
Or do you want the government to pay it?
And it must come from the supervisor.
Yeah, you can
It
go
must
and
come
find
from them.
you can find a CA-16 online, but if your supervisor doesn't sign it or someone with authority, someone in charge doesn't sign it, it's invalid.
Yeah.
But they shall issue it within 4 hours. And if it's 4 hours and 1 minute, you should file a grievance. And by the way, every single time supervisors violate the law, you should file a grievance. You should slap them around with grievances as often as you can. I think it's the only way to push back and get past these things so they stop pushing you around. And for supervisors, let me reiterate, if you will stop being a deterrence to people getting help, they'll get back to work faster. Like Federal Injury Centers has a return to work rate of greater than 95%. We get everyone as much as possible back to work. There's always going to be a small percentage of people who really have disability.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Like we do the best we can. But 95%, but you wouldn't believe the number of people who struggle getting their limited duty assignments. And that's the next thing. Limited duty offers. Management, for the love of God, stop putting it in front of people saying you got to sign this now. Like they're under duress. You might as well put a gun to their head and say sign or else.
No, guys, you don't.
You don't have to. And then I have people saying, well, I'm just told to sign and write under protest. Well, the rules say nowhere that you should write under protest. Nowhere. The rules say that they give you the offer, they send the offer to DOL or the claim examiner. The claim examiner reviews the offer and makes a determination of its suitability. And if they agree that it's suitable, then the claim examiner will tell you they think it's suitable. And then the claim examiner gives you 30 days to review it with your doctor.
Yes.
So if you get 30 days to review it with your doctor after the claims examiner says so, what makes a supervisor think they have the authority to make you sign it now? That, to me, is the biggest madness because what they're doing, supervisors don't know how to fill out these things. Like they probably don't know how to read a CA-17 duty status report. They're probably confused by it. Many of them probably are because they have to understand some medical stuff.
Correct.
And so there's a high likelihood they're going to make a mistake in their limited duty assignment, which is okay. That's why we have an opportunity to show it to the doctor and tell the doctor where they're wrong. And then they can fix it. And if supervisors were playing nice in the sandbox, they'd say, hey, go take this to your doctor. Let me know if it's okay. And if it's not, tell me why it's not. Let's get this all squared away so we can get you back on the clock. Like that's what should happen. Instead, they're like, sign it now. Well, that's not in the rules.
Yeah.
Sign it now is not a rule. Sign it now is BS. I wanted to say something else. Any questions for any of this?
All right, let's see. We got a few. Carlos, thank you for answering those questions for us.
By the way, those are the biggest complaints and gripes I have to supervisors. I could spend a week behind the woodshed on those three topics.
I know.
The 3 years, the CA-16, and the limited duty assignments. I could spend a week back there and need more verbal 2x4s.
Yeah.
I would never have enough verbal 2x4s for those three topics.
Listen, we know supervisors are just regular people like you and I.
And again, we have friends who are supervisors that we love.
Supervisors, yeah, we
but
have
they don't
them
treat
as
people
yeah.
like that.
If you have not gone through the supervisors, if you haven't gone through the system of getting injured, you won't understand. And we personally know supervisors that have actually said that. You know what? You guys are right. I didn't realize all of this paperwork and all of this therapy and everything I had to do was it's supposed to be this way till they go through it.
I was walking through one of our offices.
Okay,
it doesn't matter which one. I'm not going to say which one.
I remember.
It doesn't matter. Walking through an office and they said, hey, look over there. That's a supervisor. And I walked over and my thinking was, it's all fun and games till it's you, isn't it?
Yep.
He happened to be actually a nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I
Yeah,
felt
yes.
and then I felt like, well, all right, that wasn't meant for you. That was meant for somebody else. But that's how I felt in the moment.
Arlene. Hello.
Hey,
Hello. Where can I find the paper with the rule you stated that when you get a modified job offer with restrictions that you have 30 days to have your physician look it over? And also, is the employer supposed to send that job offer to OWCP first, then OWCP sends you the job offer with a letter? I'm going to stop there because there's more.
yeah, so that yes, all of that is true. And where you find it, write this down.
Write
Who is
this
this?
down. This is Arlene.
Arlene. Okay, I want you to write this down. I want you to write exactly what I'm about to say, and then I'll explain what it is. 20, the number 20, CFR, which stands for Code of Federal Regulations, 20 CFR 10.516. OWCP, not the supervisor, shall advise the employee that it has found the offered work to be suitable and afford the employee 30 days to accept the job or present any reasons to counter OWCP's findings of suitability. Now, hang on. 20 CFR 10.516. Right before that, 20 CFR 10.515C says if the employer has advised an employee, 20 CFR 10.515 letter C. If the employer has advised an employee in writing that specific alternative positions exist within the agency, the employee shall provide the description and physical requirements to the attending physician and ask whether and when he or she will be able to perform such duties. So 10.515C says when the employer, let's say supervisor, has said they have a job offer for you, that you can show it to the doctor. And 10.516 says it first goes to the claims examiner, and the claims examiner says, hey, yeah, we agree. We think this is a suitable offer. Here's 30 days. That 30 days is there so you can show your doctor.
So I'm going to continue reading your question,
But that's the
Arlene.
answer to your question.
Christine, you just said my office still doesn't comply with the 30-day rule, still is insisting only 1 day. That code that Chris just read, go ahead and Google it and then print that piece of paper out and then put it in their face.
Yeah, hey, somebody do this for me. Anybody, I don't care who. Let me go back to that page. One moment. Somebody type this up for me. Type
I
in
can.
20 CFR 10
Hold on. 20 CFR
10.516
10.516
and 20 CFR
20. Hold on. CFR
10
10
10.515
515.
parentheses
Uh-huh.
little c, a little lowercase c.
All right, guys, there you go.
Those are the rules for
Look that
limited
up.
duty assignments.
Yeah.
Look both of those up. Those are your limited duty assignment rules from the Code of Federal Regulations, aka LAW.
Okay. I'm continuing on, Arlene, with your question. I've had problems with the employer giving me job offers and demanding me to sign or basically lose my job and lose OWCP. I'm sorry, I have a finger to show them. My most recent job offer, I took to my doctor and told my postmaster what I was doing, and District CE sent a letter to OWCP stating I refused the job and what a mess I'm in. Need documentation to back my actions. Thanks in advance. There you go, Arlene. That those two CFR codes. That is it. That's going to be your backing.
But Christine said that she did, and they still refused. The postmaster herself refused. Listen, this is
Oh,
why we have strong unions that can help you. You need to get help. The other thing you can do is 1-800-321-OSHA.
yes.
That's the phone number to OSHA. And you should just ask. I'm not asking you to go and make accusations. You should just ask, do you think it's a safety violation for me to not be able to exercise my rights under the law and make sure my doctor agrees that this is a valid limited duty offer? Is that safe, or should I just, as a non-medical person, when I'm communicating with my supervisor, who's a non-medical person, should I just assume they did it right, take the job, and go do whatever? I think that OSHA might say that's probably not safe. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is speak to your OIG. They're
Yes.
not there just to penalize you, just to investigate you. They investigate management too. You can talk to them. The other thing is, these are laws. who enforces law? Law enforcement. Law enforcement enforces laws. So at some point, you're just going to have to get your hands a little dirty and say, enough, enough. I want to come back to work. There's no surer way to get paid than to clock in. I'm not motivated to not get paid. I'm motivated to not be hurt worse.
Correct.
Allow me a few days, at least out of my 30, to double check and make sure this is okay. And then I'll accept it gladly and I'll be back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why supervisors don't get this. Just like, let people take the time to make sure it's safe so they can stay at work instead of going there and doing something to get hurt and being out longer when they're out of work completely.
And if anybody wants to call OSHA and you don't want to give them your name, you can definitely call anonymously and ask.
And I think actually, let's get some phone calls to OSHA and just ask, would it hypothetically be a violation of law for my supervisor not to follow 20 CFR 10.516 and 10.515C? Would that be a violation of law for them not to follow those codes of federal regulation?
Yep.
I'm curious what you find out from OSHA. And if so, send us a message. We'd like to hear what they say.
Yeah. So supervisors, just be nice.
Yeah,
and
I mean, and
just
that's all it is.
follow the law.
And by the way,
rules.
I'm not here saying to you, take 30 days and don't go back to work for 30 days. They give you up to 30 days. Go to the doctor today if you can.
Right.
And get back to work tomorrow if you can. All I'm saying is I just want you to be safe. Now, with that said, if you want to sign under protest, it's your right. You can do that.
Yep.
You can do it, but you better know what the law says because you're doing that to yourself.
Christina, when you did show them the rules and the laws, what did they say? What was their answer to you? I'd love to know.
I can just hear it. I can hear the postmaster going, I mean, like, what?
I know. It's the law. This is why we do Woodshed Night. We're giving you law right there.
Now, okay, so Arlene also said, thank you, Rule Carrier. I'm finally standing up for myself, and you all have helped so much. I'm so happy that we're helping.
Good job.
But I want to say this, Arlene, and to all of you, I am not suggesting that you go make war with management.
No.
I don't want you to, actually. I want you to have as easy of a time as possible. My point is that I want you to know what the rules actually are so you're not pushed around.
Yeah.
You can still do what they tell you, but I want you to know what you're doing. That's all. That's what this whole point is.
Richie Ray.
Oh my gosh. Be still my heart.
I was about to say that.
So Rich is like a brother. He
Yeah.
is a really, really great friend of ours in Staten Island.
He's my crush. Richie Ray is my little crush.
And you know what's awesome is like if we're playing Stump the Chump, if I had to call a lifeline, Rich would be my first call.
He would be the one.
So, Rich, I'm so happy to have you here. I have missed you so much.
We love you too.
Can't wait to get back up to New York to see you, buddy.
Yes. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, I think my eyes are watering. I miss Rich.
I know. And I see you out there. I've been watching your pictures and stuff like that.
Oh, they're going through it.
And Rich, if you want to come on our chats and talk to the people
and tell us what's going on,
what's going on your end, especially on your side with NALC, you tell me when you want to come on. Even if you want to do it next Wednesday, we are available. We'd love to have you come on.
Rich is an NALC powerhouse.
Yeah, there's a few that we know in the United States,
but it doesn't get better. Yeah. So yeah, we'd love to have you back, Rich.
Yeah. Always, I miss you both. Okay, Carlos, thank you so much for handling some of these questions. If you guys didn't know, again, if you're hopping on, Carlos Zaldivar, that's on her. He is a federal attorney and he's based out of Miami. So if you have
a former federal employee,
former federal employee, he did put his number down. So if you guys need to reach out and ask him any questions, you can.
Yep, he's available.
Okay. What other questions?
Rich said, if you want me on next week, it's a yes.
Rich, that's it. It's a date. Me and you, not Chris. Forget about Chris. We're just going to push him to the side.
You're hired. I'll take the night off.
So, guys, because we're almost at closing time here, next week, live, Rich Ray from Long Island.
No, Staten Island.
Staten Island.
Breaking news.
Will be on live. Rich, we want to hear what's going on with all of this stuff.
No, all this talk of privatization and all this talk of termination and all this talk of if you have a work injury, you're going to be fired. All this stuff. I want to know what you guys are hearing about it, what you're doing about it, because NALC is a powerful union. Yeah,
we want to know what's going on your end with NALC. And
people don't get to, they don't really get to hear that. They don't get to hear from the inside what's going on. And those others of you in other unions outside of NALC, if you would like to come on and tell us what you're hearing and what's going on with you, I'd love to have you because look, we're connected to you.
Yeah.
We're connected to you. And man, we
We
want the
have
best for you. So I want to know what's going on. This is going to be great.
we have such a large following, and sometimes the message cannot get across to everybody sometimes, and we have all the replays and whatnot. So Rich, we're going to look forward to having you next week on our chat. We're going to be discussing. Rich is with the NALC out of Staten Island and beyond, because he's a powerhouse out there. He doesn't tolerate any BS. And Ian, we'll give you some time with everything going on, and we'll bring Ian on. He is another powerhouse with APWU out here in Florida. So we have two. If there's any mail handlers or any rural carriers that are either stewards or in the union that want to get your message out there, you can, as well as AFGE. Like I told you, we are invited to all the rallies with AFGE. We see you guys out there. And to end tonight, we stand with every single one of you. We hate what is going on. People are losing their jobs. All these things are happening, and it is not fair. I
What
don't agree with it. It's not fair, and we're behind you.
and it's hate with a capital FU. Like that's how bad we
Yeah.
hate it. This really sucks.
What
So
is
I think
this?
this is a good timely woodshed night.
I've submitted, Susan, I submitted my CA 17 completed by OWCP provider 2 weeks ago, but not have received a light duty offer. How long does a supervisor have to give me light duty offer or tell me they cannot meet my
All
restrictions?
right. So the way this works is the supervisor is required to make all reasonable efforts to find a limited duty assignment. There's no rule that I've ever seen that says what period of time they have to make that determination. So what you need to do is get with your union and push.
Yeah.
I love it when I get to say get with your union and push because that works so often.
And last question, Gina. What happens when you have been dealing with a major nerve damage, RA, and carpal tunnel, and major pain and hard to deliver mail? Still trying to work where I do go. What do I need to do for work? Does not want to work with me regarding this.
So the way this works is number one, you've got to get your claim approved. Your OWCP claim, if it's not approved, you have no benefits, no rights under the law of OWCP. FICA does not have any protections for someone who doesn't have an accepted claim because it's like there's no claim at all. Until it's accepted, it doesn't really exist. Okay. It's not saying you're not hurt. Until it's accepted, they're saying we're not responsible for that hurt, for the injury. So first you got to have that approved.
Chuck, hold on. I'm going to have Chris glance at this
In a
message.
second.
Oh,
But once it's approved, if management won't give you a limited duty assignment, then you get to stay home on LWAP, and your documentation is management won't give me a limited duty assignment, even though I want to work. And you'll get paid. So you just have to provide documentation showing management's not doing what they have to do.
yeah. Did you see that one real quick?
Yeah, so I read that. It's not really a question, it's kind of a statement. So Chuck had an injury that, as I was reading this, I thought there's no way that's a CA1. And then he said he filed a CA2 because he was told to do that, which was a mistake. So, number one, look, a CA1 is for an injury that happened in a single shift, a CA2 developed over time, and he tore a meniscus. Now, you can tear up a meniscus over time, but this one he felt a pop. I mean, it was pretty clear it happened in a single shift. And someone's got to be responsible for saying, hey, that's a CA1, not a CA2. But you know what else? And by the way, Chuck and everyone else, I am not in the business of bashing claims examiners.
No, we don't want to do that. We
But
just want
I'm
them
going to
to do
say
the
a
right
thing.
thing.
Let me say a thing.
Yeah.
But if you're a claims examiner, I'm not bashing you. Okay. But I got to teach people something. It is the claims examiner's role, one of their roles, to acknowledge or recognize when the wrong form is filled out and just fix it. Say, oh, that should have been a CA1 and just change it.
Yeah.
And it looks like that didn't happen. And I don't know why it didn't happen, but I read somewhere that the claims examiner can just go and change it. Oh, this is clearly a CA1, not a CA2, or it's clearly a CA2, not a 1. And that didn't happen. And, 3 months in, he was told that you filled out the wrong paper. I'm really sorry about that. So everyone should have known better. The manager, supervisor should have known better. I would hope that if you took this to the union person, a union rep would have known better. But the claims examiner's job is to know better. So I kind of like took everybody to the woodshed on that one. But for you and everyone else, you fill out a CA1 for anything that happened in a single shift. It wasn't happening yesterday. It just started today. And you fill out a CA2 for anything that's just been going on for a period of time.
Yeah. Julie, are you filing your CA7s? Message me after this and let me see what's going on. So again, everybody, I gave you dates. And if you didn't hear at the very beginning, I gave you dates where we're going to be in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We're excited. We get to travel again and get to see all the old faces and some new faces. Like, we're excited to go to Las Vegas and get with the APWU there, NALC. Some rural carriers are going to be there, and hopefully some mail handlers. If you guys want to attend that, contact Tina, the state president there, and she'll tell you and give you
State
all the
president for which
info.
union?
APW.
There you go.
And just join us. Right now, we have a following of 38,000 of you guys across all of our social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. And don't forget, we have a podcast called Breaking OWCP. This will be playing in a couple days on the podcast. And again, next week on the 19th, we're actually going to be in Naples that night, but we'll be at our hotel by evening and we'll do our chats there. So we'll be live from Naples, Florida.
And for those of you that have read any of my books, Breaking OWCP, Volume 5 is on the way. It is likely going to be the last thing I ever write about OWCP. It'll be a combination of all 4 books I've ever written in one book, plus some new content. And it's being worked on. It's probably 80% done, maybe 90. And
then it goes into production. We might do a Christmas in July and bring out volume 5.
And look, I don't write these books so that I can become wealthy. I can tell you right now, I've made $0 profit, $0 profit on my 4 books over the years. I haven't tried to, but they don't print them for free, and they don't mail them for free, and the shipping stuff isn't free. And so there is going to be a cost to it, but it'll be small because I want it to get it in as many people's hands as possible. But I want you to know the last book I'm probably ever going to write on OWCP is on its way. And it just takes so much effort on my part to write books. And plus, I'm trying to run a company of doctors in a franchise helping you all across the country. And that takes a lot of time too. And we travel to teach you about OWCP, and that takes a lot of time too. Yeah. And then we do this. And don't feel sorry for me. Okay. I'm still young at 50. I can handle it. But I'm getting tired. And I think I've written just about everything there is to write on the topic. So the next book is coming. It'll probably be the last one. Now, look, something crazy may happen.
Yeah.
And make me write another one. But I think this is going to be it. So just keep an eye out for it. I don't write it so that I can get rich. If I was going to do that, that would have happened already. And it didn't. But that was never the point. You know, when I wrote the first book, this one, it was 2020 during the COVID lockdown. Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast by a marketing guy that I really, really respect, Gary Vee. And he was talking about a mentorship he was doing with one of his clients. And he said to the guy, "You mean you don't even have a book?"
And here they are.
And when he said, let me have that first one. He said, "You mean you don't even have a book?" I was sitting on my back porch and I literally hit pause. I hit pause. And 3 days later, this was at the printer.
Yep.
It had a barcode. It was copywritten. It was listed in the Library of Congress. It was edited by me. And it was to the printer.
Yep.
And I did it in 3 days. There was a typo in it that I was embarrassed by, but I fixed it. The rest of these took some more time because I realized I needed to spend some extra time on it. But this last one, the 25 Things book, is it's the smallest by far, but I think it's the most powerful thing that's ever been written in OWCP. I don't think anything will ever beat it, ever. And by the way, if someone can, I hope they do because you need the help. But the next one's coming. It'll include all of these. And just keep an eye out for it. And just know I write it for love because I know you guys need it. And I hope you'll all get it.
When you invite us to your state and national conventions, when we do training, we bring these books for free. So whenever our 4 visits that we are going to be doing that we have scheduled, come and grab one when we're there.
Now, with that said, look, we're not here to sell you anything. You don't have to buy anything. We want you to come back next week, and we won't try to sell you anything then. You'll notice we didn't try to get you to go to any of our Federal Injury Center's offices, And we didn't try to get you to buy books. And there is no place on Wednesday night OWCP chats for you to donate money. Don't give us stars. Don't give us dollars. Just give us follows and tell more people about us so we can help more people.
Yeah, swipe your credit card on the computer.
Don't you do it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Woodshed Night, where Chris took the supervisors
Behind the woodshed
behind the
with
woodshed.
verbal 2x4s.
I will be posting tomorrow and the next 2 days some of these rules, laws, and regulations. A lot of you are asking about the 30-day rule. I will get that posted on there tomorrow, so you have the actual rule. And don't forget, everybody, tell your friends. Rich Ray from Staten Island, New York, union president, will be on here live next week.
And if you haven't heard Rich Ray talk, you've never seen fire come out in the form of words.
Yeah.
Believe me, you're going to like it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Don't forget to follow us. Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
And the Breaking OWCP podcast.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right, good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.